I'm gonna go on a little rant here, okay? So,
I
and then
expected nothing less. I'm just waiting for a prop to pop out.
hello everyone, and welcome to episode 16 of Just Lying Around, a Detroit Lions podcast presented by the World of Football. I'm your host, Kyle Sutherland, and before I introduce my co-host and brother-in-law, I don't know about you guys, but if you weren't crying, if you weren't yelling, if you weren't clapping your hands together, if you weren't throwing your remote at the TV, if you weren't on your knees at the end of the game crying in joy, then are you really a Detroit Lions fan? You got to ask yourself. But I am here with my co-host and brother-in-law, Adam Snow. And Adam, how are you doing about after this win here?
I had to check my pulse there to start the show. I mean, I'm still letting the stress leave my body. Good Lord. I mean, people can say same old Lions for 3 quarters. That same old shtick. But this is clearly a team that isn't our traditional Lions team. I'm not going to say the same old Lions showed up. It was a division game that we knew, or if you know football, you know division games, the records just throw them out. We figured the Bears were going to play tough. Justin Fields was probably going to be electric, and Detroit had to play their best game. And they didn't, and they still came out with a victory, which says something to me about this Detroit team. And we're going to go into all those facets as we go along, I'm sure. But I'll let you get things rolling.
Yes, we are, because this was a game to watch. So if you haven't watched it, if you can watch it, do it. Because
Suffer through the 3 quarters just to get to that last quarter.
I was at work for the first hour,
Oh,
and I almost had to shut it off because I got a couple Bear fans that I work with, so they kept coming over, and I can't wait to go in tomorrow with all my Detroit Lions gear on.
Do you want to take that? I got a Bears suck sign I made that's sitting in my car if you want to take that in tomorrow. Because I took tomorrow off, almost fearing if they lost this game, I didn't want to be there. But I might just cancel my day off and walk in just to hold that sign up. So we'll see. Haven't decided yet.
Yeah, we'll see how they feel, but I can't wait. But anyways, on today's show, we're going to go over the Lions Week 11 win over the Chicago Bears, and then look ahead to their Week 12 game against those cheeseheads, Green Bay Packers. So first, we want to thank you for checking out our podcast, whether that's on the YouTube channel or on your podcast platform of choice. You can find the World of Football and its many offerings on multiple social media platforms. Just check down in the description. We also have timestamps in the descriptions if you'd like to jump around to the various topics we discuss as well. So now, without further ado, let's talk about this crazy win against the Bears. So we had the Lions 31, Bears 26, and right off, I gotta tell you, the Bears had this game in the bag, but somehow they lost it. So it's a whatever Peyton Manning and what's his Jeff Daniels. Whatever they did in that stadium to lift this curse, it's working. Because right now, Lions are 8-2, and there's some crazy stats out now. How they've won so many games in the division in a row. They've 8-2 for the first time in what?
Since 60, what was it, 68?
Yeah, 68. This is a wild run we are on.
Yeah, it's been absolutely nuts. But I mean, you kind of alluded to it that the Bears lost this game, and it's half true. I think the Lions kept themselves in it enough. The defense didn't help them, and I'm sure we'll both have gripes about this defense.
Oh yeah.
But can we start off with credit where credit's due? And I know you're going to start off with the stats here. And I'll kind of lead you into it because Jared Goff went 23 of 35, 236 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions, 2 of which were his fault, and I think 1 wasn't. Kind of got tipped at the line.
Yep.
But still, sloppy quarterback play. But, and this is a big old BUT here, Jared Goff's mentality cannot be understated here. The mistakes, and he knows he owned up to those mistakes, following the pregame or postgame, and his mentality of coming back out onto the field and then absolutely leading a surgical drive to get down the field and win that game, or actually 2 drives, because they had to go down, get the first touchdown, where he threw a gorgeous 40-yard pass to Jamison Williams. Chef's kiss.
Yeah.
And funny story here, though, Kyle. Dad was sitting next to me watching the game, and literally before the play started, he goes, God, I don't know why Jared Goff just doesn't throw the deep ball to Jamison Williams. What's the point of even having him if we don't do it? And I kid you not, the next play, that is exactly what happened. And absolutely poetic fashion. So we get that. It was like a minute off the clock for that drive.
Wait. Were you waiting for that flag to come out, though?
A little bit. Just for a smidge second I was, but then I was allowed to elate in the fact that it was a 1-minute drive, and they had plenty of time to maybe get a stop and get the ball back to go down for that second score, which they did. And on that drive, knowing that both teams had all 3 timeouts, knowing that, Detroit was kind of in control at that point after having a big stop against Chicago, and just, all right, you got the 2-minute warning, you got to march down, and really hoping that they left no time for Chicago. That was my only concern. Do not leave them any time. And they did, 20-something seconds. The Bears, and by the way, to your credit, the Bears making the dumb mistake, and they lost the game. I think this is a big factor. The touchdown, or right after, or before the touchdown that Montgomery got in for, the Bears called that timeout there after the Lions ran the ball. I get it. I get it. You want the ball back if the Lions score. But the amount of time it would have taken Detroit to line back up, maybe they try another run up the middle and the Bears stop them, that would have eaten up so much clock. That would have maybe even been the ball game. Maybe Detroit couldn't have gotten set. And they took the risk and gave Detroit a gimme timeout right there, because Detroit at that point had none left. So that was, to me, one of the biggest blunders Chicago made. That, and whatever that Justin Fields shimmy was, from that moment on, the Bears just...
Oh, yeah.
So, man, Justin Fields, played out of his mind. But, dude, I get it. You're celebrating, you're having a good time winning. There's a point where, gloating can be a little too much, dude. You need to just chill. But, so back to the Jared Goff mentality of marching down the field and getting that team in the end zone at that crucial moment says everything about this team. It says everything to me about how different it is around Detroit.
Yeah, and I think with Jared Goff, those interceptions, 2 of them at least, I think he's just getting way too comfortable with throwing in tight windows like that. He was throwing into 2 to 3 man coverage on.
Well, when Amon-Ra makes those catches 9 out of 10 times, why not?
It looks great, but man,
yeah,
I don't know. You got to have some balls for that.
I get it, but also think about this. If it was any other Detroit quarterback besides Matthew Stafford in the past years, who else would you trust to overcome 3 interceptions in a game? None of them. Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford in Lions history, and maybe Bobby Lane, because he was probably drunk off his rear end and he didn't care where he was slinging it, could have come back from 3 interceptions and led a victory. So, Jared Goff, give him some credit. I get it. We're all going to dog him for the 3 interceptions. But the mentality to come back from how many, and even in the league, how many quarterbacks can come back from throwing 3 interceptions, to not let it phase him and come out and just lead those 2 great drives at the end of the game.
Yeah, which resulted 2 touchdowns total and a 2-point conversion.
That 2-point, and what a big 2-point conversion that was.
Yeah, with the Sam Laporta. He's been pretty the pitcher the last couple games, but wide open in the end zone there for 2 points.
He hasn't had a whole lot of stats, but he's been clutch in certain moments. We went into the 4th quarter, I don't think he had a catch at all. Then they started giving it to him in those crucial, we need a first down. well, we need to get the ball moving. There's Laporta. Like they give it to him when they absolutely need it. And he has been pretty clutch. He's had a couple of drops earlier in the year, but pretty clutch in those moments.
Yeah. So let's go through the stats here real quick, and then we'll talk about some stuff here. So real quick,
All right.
we went over Jared Goff, 23 of 35 for 236 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Amon-Ra St. Brown had 8 receptions for 77 yards, 1 touchdown. David Montgomery had a pretty big day against his former team. 12 carries, 2 receptions for 98 total yards, and 1 touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs had another fantastic day. 8 carries, 6 receptions for 95 yards, 1 touchdown. And finally, Jamison Williams had 2 receptions for 44 yards and a touchdown. No flag thrown, so that goes on the record books.
Yep.
For the Bears side, Justin Fields, 16 of 23 for 169 yards, 1 touchdown, and 18 carries for 104 yards. Khalil Herbert, 16 carries, 2 receptions for 35 yards, and DJ Moore, 7 receptions for 96 yards and 1 touchdown. Total
Yeah, if it weren't
yards.
for that big touchdown though that Moore got, Fields' stat line other than the rushing yards wasn't that flashy. But that what was that, a 30 or 40 yard touchdown he threw to DJ Moore?
Yeah, with
Great throw, by the way. Great throw. But
Jerry Jacobs
we're
covering
yeah.
and
Regardless, I
Kirby
mean that was a
Joseph.
big chunk play. Yeah.
Yeah, Kirby Joseph
But
missed his assignment on that one, so
yeah,
hopefully
can't
they
let that
talk about
happen.
that.
But yeah, but that's where we figured where the Lions would get bit at those big plays. But continue.
Yep. And Lions total yards 338. Bears had 334. And here is a wild stat: time of possession.
Yeah,
Lions only 19 minutes and 36 seconds. Bears 40 minutes and 24 seconds of ball possession. So
that right there, that stat, I had no idea. At one point, they did say the Bears had 20 minutes more possession than Detroit. But holy smokes, that is the definition of the Bears lost that game. And I'm not trying to take anything away from my Lions. I love them. They did what they needed to do to win that game. But 40 minutes of possession to Detroit's less than 20 minutes, 19 minutes, 36 seconds, and we still got the win? Unbelievable.
yeah.
That also goes to show our defense can't get off the field. This defense has not been up to snuff. I tweeted out at one point, and I know you want to talk about this too. It might even bump it up a couple of spots in your notes, but is it time to maybe consider talking about getting rid of Aaron Glenn as our defensive coordinator?
So yeah, let's just jump into it. Aaron Glenn, I wouldn't fire him right now, but if
That's
they
what.
need
Yeah, I'm
to
not saying
think
fire
really,
him right now. I'm just saying, is it time to actually start having the discussions? If you're Dan Campbell,
I
of
think it is.
maybe we have to start looking at it. We'll have to see how Thanksgiving goes, because I don't think you fire him between now and Thanksgiving.
Well,
I think a change has to be made. A change has to be let go of another defensive back coach like last year, because after they did that, that opened up a world of awesomeness for that Detroit defense. They need something. I don't know what it is, but I think they have to have the discussion. And I love Aaron Glenn as the dude. Like, the dude talks the best game. I love the dude. But as far as what the product coming out on that field is, his X's and O's is not working a lot of the time. And I get it. The Bears have got talent, though, so I don't want to take anything away from the Bears. And Justin Fields, when he plays a good game, Justin Fields is unworldly. Maybe a little undercoached, but his talent's there. It's very evident. But Detroit struggling with running quarterbacks has been frustrating to watch. Letting big plays on the back end like that, hard to watch. Like, the way they have schemed things have been infuriating. And I don't know what the solution is. And I don't want to just automatically jump to, do they need to fire Aaron Glenn? I am just advocating for, I think it is time for Dan Campbell to sit down and think about with Brad Holmes, is it time to make a change? Is it time to at least start looking in that direction of moving off of Aaron Glenn? Because you can't, man. They should have been able to handle that Bears team. They get at least 2 or 3 more stops early in the game. And how many times? And I see a lot of it's missed tackles. There was a couple of really bad missed tackles that they could have had Fields before he got 10, 15 yards. Dumb penalties. There's so much they got to clean up, and you can't put it all on coaching, but I feel like there's enough here to warrant the discussion.
Yeah. Like, I say you can't fire him during the season because if you do that, it's just going to be a disaster.
True.
But yeah,
True,
they
but
need
how long do you let
to.
this go on? This could
It's
ruin
got
your
to be the
season
whole
if he's
season.
still in control.
But after the season, I hope Dan Campbell, Aaron Glenn, or not Aaron Glenn, but Brad Holmes
Brad
kind of
Holmes.
sit down and say, yeah, maybe we need to change, or maybe we need to look at the draft and maybe let's draft another star edge player because how many times did Alex Anzalone blitz today versus blitzing a non-running quarterback? Previous, none. I don't think he blitzed once. But we did see Brian Branch kind of blitz a lot on run plays. But I think Aaron Glenn he believes in the front four way too much, thinking that they're gonna get they're gonna get home, and they only got what 1 sack and 1 strip sack today. I
Didn't
think.
they get 2 sacks technically?
Well, yeah, 2 sacks and a strip ball at the end with Aiden
Yeah.
Hutchinson. I I don't know. They need to put more pressure on these quarterbacks, and thinking your
It's
front four can do it by themselves, it's not working.
I get that. And like I think for the first drive of the game, it was evident that they had to adjust off of what their game plan was because then eventually they did kind of allow Chicago to run more, and then they really kept a cap on Fields running. But and I get it, you can only do so much with Fields. There was just times where a couple missed tackles happened and he's gone.
Oh
My
yeah,
problem is, as much as I do also believe in this front four, uh, they get the pressure. They're right there. Like you're just like all you got to do is reach around and you got Fields right there. You're within arm's reach of him. But he either finds a way out of it or none of these guys finish. Even Hutch, and I love Hutch. The defensive line just doesn't finish after the pressure. It's evident. I don't know what they're missing there, but they get the pressure. They never finish. And it has been that way since 4 or 5 weeks now. They have not been able to finish. And that's been their problem. If they finish, I don't think we're talking about anything on the back end because we don't have to see the back end of the defense because the defense is doing what that defensive line's getting home. But they're not. And that's where we got to stop
yeah,
and be like, what scheme do we need to run differently other than just doing the same thing every week and getting burned?
yeah. And I really love Aiden Hutchinson. Like he's a great player, but 2 or 3 of those drives he was trying to get to the quarterback. He do his little spin move, and it's clearly a hold. And instead of finishing the play, he'll throw his hands up and just stare at the freaking uh, referee, like, what's
Referee.
going on? And the play's still going on. And he's like, what are you doing? You got to finish the play,
You got to
Hutchinson.
finish the play. But I also do think it has been weeks. And he finally got one this week. They finally called a holding call on whoever
Yeah.
was up against Hutch. But there have been so many times, and I've seen the screenshots from every game. Hutch is always getting held. And I get it, there's holding on every play, technically, probably. But those obvious ones, and I get it, Hutch has got to sell it a little bit by throwing his hands up. But like I agree with you, he's got to finish the play. Stop looking at the ref. Go finish the play. Otherwise, field scampers for 30, and we're all standing around like, well, are we going to get the flag or not? And then it's, oh, no, it's on us? Like, you got to just finish the play.
Yeah.
But
I'd
look, I
like,
get it. The way we're talking, I get it. It sounds like we're talking about a loss, and we're talking about a win. That's very weird territory for us Lions fans.
yeah. I mean, I'd like to see Hutchinson stop doing the spin moves and just bulldoze his tackle into the quarterback because he's strong. He's
That's,
got to have strength. Just come
yeah.
on, man. I know he can do it. Just do it. But yeah. Hopefully next week against the Packers, the game playing a little better, and it won't be a crapshoot like this one. But let's move on. Let's talk about Goff. First half kind of looked off. 3 interceptions. I don't know if it was just him and the receivers weren't clicking. If the first drive by the Bears, they had a touchdown right away. If that was kind of in his head, saying, "Oh man, we got to get back into the game." But like he said, kind of like a short mentality, or forget about what happened. Let's move on, and basically put the this win on his back and delivered at the crucial time. So I mean, I
Yeah.
wouldn't really think too much of it. Like, we won, so let's just move on.
And I think it also, other than his, give credit to him, because like even after that Packers game, remember that game started off with him throwing an interception and us all going like, here we go, here we go. And he came right back, and then the Lions had what, 3 or 4 straight drives against the Packers that Thursday night. Goff here, the 3 interceptions, utterly baffling. I've never seen him play that bad, and to play that bad in a loss or in a win, I'll take it. Maybe going forward, how many 3 interception games is he going to have? Just going to say that, but it also helps him that yes, at times, and I'm not going to totally crap on the defense today, but the defense did also keep them within enough striking distance for a comeback to be warranted, for him to not feel like it was an unwinnable situation. Yeah, they got down by 12 points, 2 scores, but that's enough in this league. A 2-score lead is nothing, and for Jared Goff, that had to have been the mentality. He's like, look, and they did exactly what they needed to, and that they said that, and it's, hey, let's go down and score here. We'll probably kick the ball back to him, stop him. We get the ball back. We're going to go do it again. And that's what they did. I just think he's got that mentality. And even if they would have ended up losing this game today, as disappointed and as dejected as I'm sure you and I both would be, and luckily I'm already not going into work tomorrow. You might have considered not going in tomorrow, but I think even if they would have lost this game, I would have expected the Lions to bounce back. Maybe not even just against the Packers, but just season-wise. It all would have been, and let's look at that side of things, it would have been loss number 3, sure. Yes, a division loss, sure. But I feel like it would have been a game that the Lions go, that's when we learn from. Just like they learned from that Seahawks game. They learned from that Ravens game, and you learn from this game. Even now that they got this win, you learn from this one. Because this one, they might as well feel like it's a loss. I get it, wins are hard to come by in this league, and Campbell's going to tell them that in their locker room, that a win's a win's a win. But I would almost be like, you got to treat this like a loss and come out against Green Bay on Thanksgiving and act like you're coming off of a loss, because pretty much you did. For 3 quarters, you were anemic. You were, you couldn't do anything. And in the last 5 minutes of the game, you pulled it out, which is what the good teams tend to do. But also the bad teams let that one slip through their hands, which the Bears also did. So, yeah. I just feel like Goff's confidence has been understated and underappreciated by Lions fans. And that's hard to recognize, especially in the moment when he's got 3 interceptions on the stat line and we're all like, this bum. Or we drafted the quarterback in the draft, and that was all on Twitter today. Like, I've already saw the same old Lions. I saw, do we draft a quarterback? All that stuff. And I'm sure they're tweeting different stuff now. But, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're gonna be all right. A win is a win. They're 8-2 right now. They're gonna clean things up for Thursday against the Green Bay
They better.
Packers at home. So
We said that about the defense going into this game. And at one point, that first touchdown drive would have been 6 straight touchdown drives they allowed their opponent to have. 6 straight touchdown drives. Unacceptable.
yeah, well, hopefully Dan Campbell sits down with Aaron Glenn and says we need to do something, because they gotta have this stuff stop. They can't keep going with it. Like, something needs to change. I know we got 2 cornerbacks that are pretty stout with Cam Sutton and Jerry Jacobs, but they can't do it themselves. You can't leave them on islands for 7, 8 seconds and let the quarterback just sit in the backfield all day. Like they're gonna get
Yeah.
toast eventually. And also, I want to say why did we have Will Harris out there in the freaking end zone holding penalty? Why? Who drew that play up? Like, come on. I don't
At
know
this
if.
point, why do they even let Will Harris on the field?
Yeah, right. But Brian Branch did have a couple penalties on him too. But
Yeah, he did.
he
Ticky
had
tacks, a
some.
bunch of ticky tack stuff.
Yeah, he had a couple explosive behind the line plays too. So
Yeah.
I ain't too worried about it. But yeah, let's also talk about the third quarter. Nothing really happened for the Lions again. I don't know what's going on in the third quarters, but um, hopefully they change it around. But I don't foresee that happening. So I think we all just need to get used to it.
What I don't know what the problem is. They came out of halftime with the ball. They couldn't get a drive going. Um, that first drive was the one where he threw the interception, right? That tipped interception to start the third. Was that what happened
I
on that drive?
I think so.
Okay, I can't remember
Wow.
100%, but then obviously the Bears get it. The Bears went down and scored, and then the next kick, uh, Craig Reynolds, returns the kickoff, which was a little short for a change, and just absolutely gets blasted, fumbles the ball, and gives the ball right back to Chicago. Uh, I don't know what it is. Are we just jinxed for the third quarter? Can we just not turn the ball over or come out and like do something? Like, what is it? You go in, you get your halftime granola bar. And is that too much for their stomachs to come out in the second half and play? They look so sluggish. They look like they don't know what they're doing. It's just this team in the third quarter is not the team we see usually. And it's just baffling that it
Yeah,
consistently keeps happening.
I don't know. Like, if you got David Montgomery and Jameer Gibbs in the backfield, just freaking run it. I feel like when they get out on the field after on the third in the third quarter, like I feel like the first play they want to do this kind of razzle dazzle throw play. Let's just run it. Like you got two stout running backs. Let's just get the first
Yeah.
downs, get in the end zone, and then worry about these razzle dazzle plays um they want to draw up for later. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah. Um, big shout out at the end of the game. Aiden Hudson delivers a strip sack. Finally, kind of silent the last couple games, 2 or 3 games. Big time stop for the game winner. So good on him.
Yeah, I mean, what a way to finish the game. We knew we had to stop them. We knew they had time, and I was nervous. I was like, "That's enough time with 2 timeouts for Justin Fields to make something happen, even to go down and kick a tying field goal was within reason." And that first drive, Hutchinson bulldozed. He didn't do a spin move. I'm pretty sure he didn't do a spin move. He just
Oh,
bulldozed that. Did he spin move?
no, he bulldozed him and then he went around him.
Okay,
So
see that's what they need more. Bulldoze the guy to the point where you go around and bam, get the quarterback.
yeah.
But look, good play. Shocked that it actually ended up going out of the end zone for the safety to seal it up. And never before have I seen an onside kick that was from the punting. After a safety, they punt the ball, free kick style. I've never seen an onside kick like that before. And luckily, Amon-Ra was there to catch it amongst the biggest group of people I've ever seen for a fair catch punt ever at the end of the game there.
I didn't see that. I was probably too busy running around the living room and
Oh, I thought it was
excitement.
hilarious because it was literally both squads. And then somewhere in there, Amon-Ra was able to catch that ball because they were onside kicking it, but it was like they had to punt it because obviously after safety you have
Oh
to
yeah.
punt it like that. So I've never seen that before, so that was kind of funny. But I was like, oh, thank God I was Amon-Ra who caught it because I don't know anybody else who's got better hands than that dude because he catches those 201 jugs a day.
Yeah, speaking of punting, I wonder how much they're gonna fine Hutchinson for punting the ball into the stands. So
I don't care.
be on the
They
lookout for
got the
that.
win. I don't care. Fine them for a dumb punt like that. As soon as he did, I was like, that might be a fine. I don't know. Who cares?
Oh, it will be.
I'm surprised they didn't
All
throw a
right.
flag, but it's fine.
That would have been the old Lions way.
All
Okay,
right, we moving on.
let's talk about week 12. Lions versus Packers Thursday, Thanksgiving at 12:30 on Fox. The Packers just got done defeating the Chargers 23-20. So Packers and Chargers are both sitting at 4-6. Biggest takeaways. I didn't really watch that game because the Lions were playing, so
Obviously, same
that's
time.
more important. But I want to the defense. I hope the Lions are kind of ready. I don't know if they're on the same caliber as the Chargers, but I know they got some big playmakers on their side on the defense.
Yeah.
And then also this guy named Jaden Reed, kind of a trick play person on their offensive side. So hopefully they keep an eye on him. I know he runs from the backfield. He's a wide receiver, so hopefully they got a game plan for him. And what you were telling me, Aaron Jones apparently got hurt. So will he play in Thanksgiving? Who knows?
Yeah. It was like a knee injury. I guess he went down, and then I was looking right before we recorded that the coach said it was a short-term injury. So I don't know if that means short-term enough to where he'll play Thursday against Detroit or not. I would almost assume maybe not against Detroit, but Aaron Jones, when the Lions played up in Green Bay, didn't Aaron Jones only get like 3 yards rushing, something crazy like that? Like he didn't like have a good game that day.
Yeah, I don't think they're. Here, let's look in that game. They only had 27 yards of rushing, and Aaron Jones only had 18 yards of
18 yards. So
yeah. So
so
yeah,
I mean, so I I think the key to victory here, and I'm not going to come up with a score prediction because it's a division game. It's the same case with like the Bears. I'm not going to sleep on the Packers here. They're 4-6. Jordan Love, I'm not going to say he's going to be a world beater, but we can't let him look like it. I think the formula is simple, and Kyle, you mentioned it. Give it to Montgomery, give it to Gibbs, run the ball, run the crap out of that Packers defense. Uh, Goff obviously will throw it when he needs to in critical situations, and our defense has just got to not let up the big play. I don't think Jordan Love is a big running threat.
no,
So I think him probably rest a little easier in that department. Let Anzalone just throw a couple of blitzes in there, against them. But I don't know. I think this should be one that Detroit, just play like you did the last time against them. You should be fine.
yeah. Hopefully they either send Anzalone or even Brian Branch off the side. Let's see him blitz a few times. Like
And a
he's
name I didn't hear today that I missed a little bit was Tracy Walker. Was he out there at all today?
oh yeah, but well, I don't know. I saw a lot of what's his name? Kirby
Because
Joseph. But yeah, Tracy Walker did have 3 tackles and 1 assist
okay,
today. So yeah, he was out there. So yeah, hopefully they get their act together and let's pull out a more convincing win than the
on national
Bears.
television, hey, we've talked about Lions right now, undefeated in prime time / nationally televised games so far. Games that aren't on Sunday, Detroit's been able to win. So let's hope that they can pull another one off on Turkey Day.
Yeah, because I don't want to see their quarterback eating a turkey leg on our field
Yeah,
if they do that anymore.
I think they do.
All right. You got anything else, or you want to close this out?
I think I'm good. I can't think of anything else other than when do you want to record on Turkey Day? Because I know we're good. Turkey Day is going to be absolutely nuts for both of us.
I don't think it'd probably have to be on Friday.
All right, Friday we'll do it at some point. All right, just in case
Unless you want to,
any loyal listeners out there are looking for us, it'll probably be Friday. We'll talk about the game.
do
It's
it
like,
at
yeah,
Youngie's.
yeah. Oh, do you want to do it in person? Just a quick you and me in one camera view with the whole family there? Shoot, we could.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
We'll think about it. If we can pull that off, I'd say we try to do it. Otherwise, it'll probably be Friday.
Yeah. Well, just
All
be on the
right.
lookout.
All right.
All right.
But all right, guys, we hope you enjoyed listening to this week's show. Stressful game this week, but hey, a W is a W. Be sure to visit theworldoffootball.com for news, links, upcoming events, original articles, videos, and so much more. Be sure to follow us on our social media platforms. All the links are down there in the description below. You can also listen to our flagship podcast, which is This Week in the World of Football, which I am on with my father, Randy. And we do that every Tuesday. I'm sure we'll talk about this game. And we got the CFL Grey Cup is actually tonight. If you want to check out some more football, it's the championship game for the Canadian Football League, the Grey Cup, 7 o'clock. I'm hoping to get this up before that game starts. Otherwise, go to CFLplus.com and stream the game if you're in the States. Should be a good game. Alouettes and the Blue Bombers, Kyle. I know you're excited about this game. But yeah,
Okay.
so check out that podcast every Tuesday. We'll talk about that and so much more. Be sure to check out the YouTube channel. Obviously, if you found us, there we are. We also find our podcast feed. You have an audio version of this show as well. Again, all those links down in the description.
Okay, yeah. So that's it for us this week. Lions victory, roller coaster of emotions. I am currently sitting on an adrenaline rush, so I think I need to go run a couple laps.
I might need a beer. I usually don't drink like when I'm at home watching the games. I just don't by myself. I might just have to kick back a beer. I got some Oberon in the fridge still. I might have to kick one back.
I could do that too, but yeah. Thanks for watching, listening, all that stuff. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment. I want to hear what you guys thought of this victory today. Be interesting. But yeah, remember Thursday, 12:30, Lions are going to beat the Packers. I want to say 30-20, 31-20. That's what my prediction
Not giving a
is.
score. Not giving a score. I just want to win.
Okay. Well,
I hope it's not as stressful
more.
as this one, but I just want to win.
I don't think it's going to be very stressful at all.
We said that about going into this Bears game, but whatever.
Okay, but that is it for us this week. Thanks again. Go Lions.
Go Lions.